Alam nila ngayon. Wala yung function mo. Okay.
I have a question on last number 5.
Review the risk assessment.
Review. Yung number 4, record.
Record the findings and implement them. Review. Records. Sa uluhin mo lang lagi yan. Record the findings and implement them. Who might be harmed and how. Evaluate the risk. Evaluate. Record the findings and implement them. Review the risk assessment. Normally, that is the one of the asking of once you pass it, the boss pass it. Once you go for interview, they were asking. They're asking, give me the 5-step of risk assessment during that interview. But if you know that, also the interviewer, we understand you are also have the debus. You are a debus from them. Because mostly that is the one question. And then hierarchy of controls is the one also. And then hazard. What is hazard? What is risk? What is accident? What is incident? Near miss. So, in your part, as a safety officer, you need to know also. Okay, let's go back to the topic. Conclusion, risk assessment is an important technique which help you to prevent accident and kill event. They call risk assessment. Risk assessment encourages the manager and key staff to think about what you could be a wrong staff that can control the situation before the accident or ill occur. So, once you go in the risk assessment, you are the one safety officer to assess the area. So, meaning, you are the one to identify the hazard. Same what I said in discussion. Because hazard is still there. Risk is there. So, in your part as a safety officer, you need how to control. So, that's why you're doing this 5-step risk assessment and 6 hierarchy of controls you're doing. Last time I discussed to you 6 steps of hierarchy of control. Elimination, substitution, engineering control, last the part PPE, administrative. So, this is the part of the risk assessment. Okay, I give you the form. Last time I give you what is FIRA. They call, this is the mixing part of the assessment. Hazard, assess identification, and risk assessment. So they including that. So you can make now this hazard. So I give you the sample. You need also to study this. Okay. Mostly, they mention in here the activity. So this is one of the sample. For example, working at ladder. So you mentioned the task. This is only the sample. Did you see the form? Okay. Work with ladder. So they mentioning this work on ladder. They call this one this activity. They have hazard, right? Once you do in the task, they have inside the hazard. Work with ladder. They have an hazard. So what is the risk? Possible risk in the hazard. So who they asking telling also for example, you go again for the 5-step. Number 1, identify the hazard. So in that your activity, you identify in the hazard of working in a ladder. Okay? So number one step, you identify the hazard. Number two, the risk. Who might be how and how. So meaning, the possible risk doing there is the possible the pipe fitter if we're working at the ladder. Number two, maybe the co-workers also, the possible the risk. The supervisor, the visitors, may be possible. And there also the engineers also, if it's there. So that is exposed for the risk. So, if you mentioning the hazard, this type, first this is the activity and asking. Now you can go down to the steps of risk assessment. So we go now for the hazard. So what is the hazard for the working on ladder? So you can mention here that if the hazard is collapse, that is the hazard. So the risk is there. Maybe the worker or the pipe fitter will be possible fracture, physical injury, or possible property damage, or sometimes if you hit your head, it's called vitality. So we can now assess the hazard. So they call this easily understand. Okay. This L1 is a frequency and severity. This is the risk mentioning. So if this frequency, the L1, so meaning you have mentioning how long it takes about your doing about the evaluation of the risk. This is the one. So if possible the risk is very high, so you need to do for the going to the existing control. So now you see the RMN is a risk factor number. Some other side is different, no? What is mentioned there? Tolerance, intolerable, no? So same like this doing. So in your assessment, if the risk is very high, so you need giving the prevention control. They call the evaluate the risk. So you mean giving the call the existing control. For example, if the ladder collapse, the risk is possible the worker they go for physical injury or possible fracture. So if you make an assessment, you can recommend for the existing control. So number one, you mentioned there, homemade ladder is not allowed to use. Ladder with broken ramp will not allowed to use. Placement of ladder must be in proper secure position. That is the existing control, meaning you can also reduce the risk. Because if you're working on a ladder, so you are the one also to assess if there is assessment. Because number one, your step, identify the hazard, who might be harmed and how, evaluate the risk, record the findings and implement them, and then review the risk assessment. This is your control measure you make. So now, it's your recommendation. The homemade ladder is not allowed to use. Only allow the egg ladder. So meaning, assure safety once you go inside, if you found a homemade ladder, you are not allowed to use that one. That is the controls you do it. You understand, boss? So you recommend for the controls. And then, you recommend also the controls ladder with broken ramp. You know, in the ladder with the broken ramp, you cannot allow to use. So meaning, if you found this ladder in ladder, you have the right also to non-use because you are there in the side. So this is your assessment. So if the risk is very high, so you recommend existing control. So this risk factor number will high, it will come low because you make the existing control. So once you put in the recommendation, you can now assessment tolerable, meaning allowables, and then additional controls and then assessment. So this is the one sample for how to make a risk assessment. In the Bosch, in IGC3 is the one you make it. They will give you form and then you do it. We have three types of exam of the Bosch: IGC1, IGC2, IGC3. In IGC3, this is for the technical question. Mostly, this is a risk assessment. This is the one, IGC3. In IGC2, accident, last time. And IGC1, multiple choice and enumeration. You know how much money you expect if you take the Bosch? When I take the Bosch, $4,500. 70,000 in peso. And luckily I passed. So today, I think you can get today 2,500. But if you pay in IGC 1 or 2, you need to retake. Retake, I think maybe 1,000. So you pay 2,000, retake 1,000 for rescheduling. So now 3,500. You retake again. Just try until you succeed. So how much money now you lose?
Every retake 1,000?
Yes, mostly. Because once you take in the Bosch, you can get this one in the British Council. British Council is the one. This is the one institution allowed to give the Bosch because this is British. The Bosch is an British. You know what is meaning of the Bosch? National Examination Board of Safety and Health. Examination Board. Same like you're a mechanical engineer, you take a board exam. Same like this you do it. It's international. We cannot mention here the nationality. All we can take is one negotiation. But this is a competition. If you are pass or fail, you also exceeding money. You fail.
Pero yan yung tatlong kategory ng isang sa ito.
Yes. IGC 1, 2, 3 is for the requirement for safety. IGC 4, 5, 6 is for the managerial. I don't want to go managerial. I like only part of the safety.
Managerial.
But this also
Yan ba yung
diploma.
diploma?
Diploma. You know how much diploma? 8,000.
Hindi ba yung
You have a lot of money? Go.
manager nun?
Famous diploma, 8,000. But this is also gamble. This is part of your gamble, boss. Because, again, you fail, you take again also money. You fail. This is for the managerial job. But mostly in IGC 1 to 3, you can go also for manager. You can take IOS. But mostly this is one requirement for the part of safety. Meaning, you are registered in the negotiation fashion.
May identity.
Yes. I have control number. When I give my control number, I think I appear my name. So, I pass in the question. 2009. So that's why I'm telling you, in safety officer role, this is a competition. You are not the only one doing